Hey, good morning. Chuck here with Apple Drains. Today we are going to work on a flooded sidewalk where the water pours into the family room. And you can kind of see it here. Water comes down the sidewalk, and you can see down there where he set some pavers trying to stay out of the water. It just floods right into that family room. So we're going to put a channel drain right there, a sump pump to lift that water up and discharge to the side. You can kind of see right away the amount of water that comes off of this roof in this valley. All this water pours down into this area. Here's a sidewalk leading into the family room, and it's just totally underwater. Look at all the damage. I mean, you can see it. It's on the fence, all the mud that accumulates here. It just lays right here, and of course, eventually, when it rains hard enough, the water floods directly into the family room. So what we need to do, of course, is to get some type of drainage here. We're going to take a sump basin and put it down here right beside these pool filter by the pool return lines. Cut a channel drain across the driveway, connect it all together, and it will go over to the sump basin. Sump pump will lift it up and send it out. You can see where the trailer is. It's going to go all the way out to the end. When you're digging around pool return lines, you can see how tight this area is. But when you're digging around pool return lines, be very careful. There are many lines down here. And so basically I just have to explore. Although it looks really simple, this is not an easy task. You know, there's a lot of gravel somebody's poured here. You got to sink your shovel through that. So we start to dig, and look what we find as we start to dig. I mean, you're going to find all kinds of stuff. But this was a good find. The first thing we found was a good find. It's actually a drain, but unfortunately it was backed up, and I found out that it does tie into the septic tank, which, you know, that's not going to work. So maybe we can use that drain. Maybe we can put it into our new system, but either way, we've got to keep digging. And I'm just letting this run so you can kind of see all the stuff that we find. There's all kinds of stuff down here. You will find these things down here too. As you dig alongside that pool return, you're going to find all kinds of things. I don't know what that white pipe is. It looks like an irrigation. I bet you that's sprinkler. But you notice it's pointing directly towards the sidewalk. And we need to cut that sidewalk. So over here, we found what appears to be the sewer line. So that's the sewer line right there. And I don't know what that is. So let's widen it up a little bit more. A lot of stuff here. I just hope we have enough room to get this basin down there. You can see all these pipes. And we'll see. So the object is to get this basin down to grade. We've got a lot of obstacles below, but let's see what goes on. So I know it's hard to see this, but I actually hit a pool return line. It is down there. There's so many obstacles when you dig beside the pool filter. And yeah, we know they're there, but you still have to sink that shovel. And I cracked one of those pool return lines. So if I don't make the repair, the water's just going to drain 6 or 8 inches out of that pool. We're talking thousands of gallons. So what you do is you put the sump pump down there and you set it up with a temporary discharge so that you can actually work. But the line's still underwater, and that made this kind of a fun repair. It took about 5 minutes to make the repair. It happens. You know, these are things that do happen. And basically, this is an 1.5-inch line, and I used an 1.5-inch coupling and a no-hub and put it back together, pulled the pump back out. Of course, we're going to have to move this area where we started to dig. We can't put the pit in here. It won't fit. So now we've got to move the pit over, start over from scratch. and hope that we can get down without hitting any more return lines. Okay, so we weren't able to put the sump basin in the first spot, so we've got to move it over. And remember, there is a brick paver patio buried underneath of 4 or 5 inches of dirt. So I'm finding all the pavers, the bricks, just getting them out of the way. And hopefully as I dig down here, I'll be able to get deep enough without hitting any more lines from that pool. So you can see all the pool return lines right beside me there. But we need to get this basin down in here, and it needs to go down 2 feet. I don't know if you noticed or not, but I'm all by myself. And this just illustrates and shows you that you can do these jobs yourself. Take your time. You might crack a pipe, but be prepared for that. Don't panic. Just make the repair and keep on working. Okay, after a little bit of work, remember we had to make a repair here. That was a return line that went over to the pool. And of course it would have drained, I don't know, 6 or 8 inches of that. So, 500-600 gallons. But we made that repair underwater. Got our sump basin in. Our line is going to discharge out through behind the fence and go to a pop-up. We've got something to contend with here. You can see there's a footer here. So this used to be an enclosed patio. See that footer? But it's deep enough, we'll go right underneath of that. Because this is such close quarters, in order to run the concrete saw, we need to remove this fence. So I took a section of the fence out, and we'll put that back when we're all done. Next we'll run the concrete saw. This is kind of fun, but in this close quarters, and as hot as it is, I mean, it's pushing 99 now. And you can see I'm just covered in sweat. But it's normally pretty fun. What I did find as I ran the saw is there is rebarb underneath of this sidewalk, which is kind of unusual in a sidewalk. This made it a little bit more difficult to crack it and break it, as you see, but pry bar, keep hitting it until it cracks across. Remember, the secret to do this is that when you run the concrete saw, cut clean through the concrete. You've got to get all the way down to the bottom. And if you do, you'll be able to lift these pieces out without any problem. This large piece, watch as I pull it up, you'll see the rebarb. You see how it's cracked, and the rebarb's holding that together. And that's a big piece. Rebarb. So it's about 11 o'clock. We're almost done. Remember, just keep your smile and you'll get this. Here's a little detail of how this goes together. This is the outlet of that NDS channel drain. And it really just snaps in place. Can you see that? It goes on the end, you snap it in place, and it's done. Here is the end cap. Remember, we need an end cap because this is buried in the concrete in the center of the sidewalk. Same thing. You just snap it together. It's all done. I mean, it's super tight. So you can see how this is going to set up. We're going to square it into the center of the trench. Then we'll dig a little bit down here where the outlet is. You can see how it sticks up a little bit right there. Center it in your sidewalk or whatever. And we're going to slope the concrete into the channel drain on both sides. Comes this way. It's going to come over a couple of 45s. They'll turn and go into our sump basin. And that all gets buried. One other thing that we're going to try to do is here on the back of the channel drain, we're going to drill a hole. Hopefully I can get a 1-inch hole because we need to connect. Can you see that air conditioner line? Can you see all the water over there? It would be nice if we could get that. We can't tie into the sewer, that's illegal. But maybe we can bring that over, bring it through the concrete, and tie into the back of the channel drain. Once you have things laid out, don't forget to tape the grates shut. Notice I put tape all across the grate. And yes, that is centered. It doesn't look like it, but make sure that you center your piece of channel drain into the sidewalk. Line comes over, discharges right into the sump basin. I've attached the 1-inch condensation drain. You can see that ties in, and got the channel drain all taped up so that when we pour concrete it doesn't mess up the grades. Perfect line. I put the level on there. We've got tremendous fall coming over to the sump basin. We're ready to pour concrete. I like to use cardboard for my forms. We've got it all backfilled. Let's mix up some concrete. When you're all by yourself, you probably should take a break. Notice it's 99 degrees, and make sure that you drink lots of fluid. Stay hydrated. But I'm all by myself, and I need to get this job done. I tried to make a pretty wet mix because this is in full sun. It is super hot. So now we're just kind of finishing it out. And I'm not too worried about the finish. I know that they are going to paint this. I just need to get it smooth. You can see where I've scraped across the tape of the channel drain. Can you see that? And when we're all done, we'll pull that tape off and just let it cure. This will be done and ready to go. This is a great project for the do-it-yourselfer. It really is. Granted, it is super hot, but you can do this, and it's not that hard to do. So that completed part 1 of this project. The next part is really the fun part because we're going to cut about 65 feet of pool patio and install 5-inch NDS channel drain, which will also tie into that sump basin. So that little piece of 5-inch NDS channel drain solved this flood. It's just that simple. This is from the original estimate, and you can see the water just pours down through here and it flooded directly into that family room. We installed a small section of channel drain. We also installed the sump pump, and for right now, we've temporarily pumped it out behind the fence. Hey, this is Chuck with Apple Drains, reminding you that if you believe you can do something, I guarantee you can do it. Have a great day.